What is up, Canada? What is up, YouTube? Matt McKeever here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about facial recognition, AI, and Clearview AI specifically, and Canadian privacy. This is going to be a really interesting topic. I'd love to hear your thoughts in general. Are you scared of Big Brother? Are you scared of big data? Are you scared of the fact that it's pretty easy these days to scrape information off the internet, and we can actually know a lot about you without ever really meeting you or really even knowing who you are? So anyways, in today's story, what we're going to be covering is what does Clearview AI do? What are the benefits of it? As well, what are the disadvantages? Is it illegal what they're doing? And what is Canada's response going to be? And are there any ongoing privacy issues in regards to that? So let's first talk about Clearview AI. And reminder, there's going to be a link in the video description down below to everything we talked today. But according to their website, Clearview designed a facial recognition research tool that is used by law enforcement. The individual agencies can use the technology to identify perpetrators and victims of crimes. They use public information to fill their database. This includes publicly available images on sites like Facebook, Instagram, and a process known as scraping. So from there, the AI technology creates biometric identifiers in the form of, numerical representations for each image they scrape. And law enforcement agencies can then upload images of crime scenes or suspects to match them to images in the database. This is essentially what the AI is doing. It's providing a list of results based upon the information it scraped from the free internet. And so, when we're looking at this, some of the benefits that Clearview AI, proposed to bring is it helps identify perpetrators. It can also help us identify victims. It cuts down on the number of falsely accused people, avoids inaccuracies and inefficiencies of police lineups, and uses only public images, and cuts down on investigative costs and time. Now, some of the disadvantages that people see in this regards is, they've got a database of 3 billion people and millions of Canadians, including children. They didn't ask for consent to collect these photos of us. And although we posted them publicly and Google Images has similar databases, people are concerned about this because it is a private company that's giving it to law enforcement. So use of biometric data seems unreasonable without consent is an argument a lot of people make. And it could potentially be hacked. And this is definitely a big concern individuals have. And hard to tell what they're using it for in all cases. So are they only giving it to law enforcement agencies, or who else may be buying access to their databases and information? As well, the possibility of false matches, leading to damaged reputations and other harms. And facial recognition has been shown to be faulty or still developing technology. So it's definitely not a perfect technology by any stretch of the imagination either. So let's talk about some of the legalities. And now this isn't the first time Clearview AI's faced some repercussions. So Facebook faced issues in the state of Illinois and agreed to pay $650 million in a class action lawsuit. This is due to a judgment that they violated the state's facial recognition laws. So that makes Clearview a clear sitting duck for the state of Illinois. But this wouldn't be the first time Clearview has faced backlash. They've been on the radar since February of 2020. This is due to the fact that they market themselves as a service for law enforcement only. The problem is this is simply not the case. So companies like Walmart, the NBA, and many others are using Clearview's technology. And this calls into question what exactly these companies are using facial recognition for. Now, an initial argument will always be for security, but once you've got access to that data and information, I can understand how Walmart might want to be able to identify you as an individual and be able to either push things while you're in their store, to be able to make announcements, flash sales, things of that nature. It actually could be extremely valuable for a vendor, right, or a merchandiser. One problem is that some companies don't even know that their employees are using it. The New York Police Department stated that they weren't using it, but as many as 30 officers are actually using the technology. That doesn't actually look too good when we're not even sure who actually has access to it. And finally, due to Clearview's reliance on social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube have all filed cease and desist letters to the company asking them to not be scraping their data. And so here's Canada's response. So in an investigation by the Privacy Commissioner of Canada, among others, found Clearview's technology to be an invasion of privacy. The technology is no longer used by Canadian enforcement agencies, nor is it offered to anyone in Canada. This is mainly due to the lack of consent given by Canadians. The main response by Clearview is that the images are publicly available, so they use them. So their argument is it's fair use. But the Privacy Commissioner's rebuttal is that although the images are publicly available, using these images for purposes that were not intended by the average citizens is not fair use of the images. Again, really interesting discussion here, guys, with a lot of implications. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinions in that comment section. So this becomes, especially obvious due to the fact that employees from various companies can make trial accounts and use the technology in whichever way they please. but Clearview, due to government intervention, is no longer operating or being used in Canada. Job done? Well, Clearview, according to the report, has not completely ceased collecting and disposing images of Canadian citizens. They simply stated that it would be willing to take steps on a best efforts and without prejudice basis to try to limit the collection and distribution of the images that is available or is able to identify as being Canadians. So Clearview has also refused to delete images of Canadians from its database. If you want your individual image deleted, you can apply to have it deleted. To do this, you must send them an image of yourself. The irony here is a little laughable. That a company that we don't want to have our image, all we need to do is give them our image so that they can have our image, so that they won't have our image. So the Privacy Commissioner has stated that it's willing to pursue other actions to bring Clearview into compliance. This may include new privacy laws in Canada, which are long overdue. So I think those of you that have concerns about big government and big tech and big data probably naturally are starting to think about Edward Snowden at this point in time, right? And thinking about, I remember other times that the government said they weren't using information, and then it turned out they were actually using a lot of information and accessing a lot of information, giving access to that information to a lot more people than any of us realized. So it'll be interesting to see how this Clearview controversy plays out over the following years. And understand, this isn't us specifically picking on Clearview. Every AI company that has a similar process, that has a similar function, that's trying to create a similar business model will come up against these restrictions against a lot of governments. I suspect that we're not going to see only the Canadian government pushing Clearview in this direction. So again, love to hear your thoughts, your opinions. Would you be willing to send a photo to Clearview to make sure that they don't have photos of you at Clearview? Let me know in that comment section, because I really do want this to be a two-way conversation. I really appreciate when you guys share your opinions, your perspective. So appreciate, we've got Arthur, we've got Joe, we've got Aber and Art again. So really appreciate you guys. And I see Aber and Art, talking about, yes, one more example of Orwellian style society that we're running towards. This is very Big Brother-esque. The only difference is rather than having it mounted to our wall, we just carry around the camera with us at all times. One of my general thoughts on privacy, which I know will not be popular, but I think it's kind of naive in this modern day and age. If you want to use the services of big tech, the expectation of privacy, I honestly think, is a naive assumption. So again, I'm not saying that's the right thing, but I'm just saying I think that's reality. And so for me, one of the best ways to fight my concerns about privacy is to almost have none of it. I know that may sound weird, but I essentially just try and live my life pretty open book. You can pretty much ask me anything. No, I'm probably not going to share you my SIN number or my exact net worth. But outside of those things, I don't really hide too much. And I think that hiding in plain sight is an option available to some of us, because we might as well take advantage of this. I mean, if they're going to have my face anyways, I might as well try and get paid off of YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, your opinions. And again, let me know if you're going to be sending your photo into Clearview, because I'm sure that will end well for you. So again, really appreciate it, guys. And looking forward to seeing your opinions and your comments on future stories. Reminder, we're going live every weekday at noonish, and we're doing 2 videos every day. So if you guys are enjoying these videos, smash those like buttons, hit subscribe if you're new to my channel. Appreciate Bruno Martin jumping in here as well. So I wonder if there's a company out there that makes a chip that you can wear on your body that scrambles your face for cameras to be unrecognizable. That's interesting, Bruno. I don't actually know enough about technology. That sounds complicated, but I can only see how that chip would then play out. So rather than a chip, I'd like a watch or something. But I know that there are certain types of masks. There's certain types of things you can do, right? Like there's certain ways, at least you can block out basic facial recognition, right? If you put certain blocks of color on your face, it won't recognize it as a human face. So if you do have concerns, read into it. It's been a couple of years since I read up on it, so maybe the technology's outpaced those countermeasures, but there are countermeasures available, or at least the last time I checked there was. So again, let me know, what countermeasures are you aware of when it comes to AI facial recognition? And are you doing those as well? Do you have AI facial recognition on your phone, right? Did you give Apple or Google the permission towards that? I'm curious what you guys stand in regards to all these big data, big tech companies. And is there certain ones that you do trust with your information and there's other ones you don't? Let me know in that comment section. Appreciate you guys, and looking forward to seeing you guys next week on the next